And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now.
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Coffee Crypt. Angel is off, recovering from a successful procedure this for the next couple of months. So we're going to be having some guest hosts. Did I just pluralize guests? Guest hosts.
Guest. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, it makes sense. They'll understand what you're saying.
For the Coffee Crypt. So today we've got Chris.
Hello.
Hello.
Back
Chris.
again. Back for more fun.
Guess who's back? Back again.
So I'm gonna do every episode I come on now.
Yeah. Well, we love having you, and so we always start off with a cheers.
Got my shark cup. I don't think you can see any sharks. It's not hot anymore.
Oh, Angel would love that though.
It's my favorite. Love it. Little cheers.
And my horror tumbler is back from our mystery box from Sturry, so I'm just obsessed with this.
Just bought their Valentine's Day box. I can't help myself with this company. You know what? I'm just gonna plug them real fast because I'm not sponsored, but I'm so happy.
They're just so good.
We'll talk about them at the end. I love them. So
yeah. I just saw so all the stickers that it came with.
You got. So I got the hat with that. With the
you got the hat.
Yeah, it's not.
And I just finally put because I couldn't fit everybody on the bottom here, so on my iPad I put Jason, Pennywise, and
love
Art.
That.
So
they are the best. I'm so excited for this Valentine's Day box that I'm getting. We'll talk about it at the end. I'll use that as a shout out too.
Yeah, but just like a quick update, like I was saying. So Angel's recovering. She is currently in her own room at the hospital. The surgery went well. They got as much of the mass off as they could. And it was solid, not sticky, which is what they were hoping for. So I guess when a mass is sticky, it can sort of wrap itself around other parts of the body. So, which obviously, of course, would not be good, but luckily that was not the case. And now she is just taking it easy. And of course, we all wish her the best. And just give her so send her over some tweets, put some messages so she can see it. Just send her all the love.
She'll love the love.
Yeah, we love.
Absolutely. And we love Angel.
And we love Angel. Yes, at 100%. But yeah, so in the meantime, so we're gonna have so these rotating guests. And so Chris, how have you been? I mean, since what was the last thing we did? It was
Monarch. Yep,
Monarch,
we did Monarch. No, it's been good. Unfortunately, I had a spinal surgery last week.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Wild. So I appreciate everybody. If you're from Twitter and you watch here, I appreciate everybody reaching out. It was very kind of you. I'm good. Just recovering and taking it easy, watching a lot of movies and shows. I'm killing it right now.
Good recovery is just a good excuse to sort of strap in and watch a good horror movie.
Yeah, because nobody can tell you to do stuff because I'm not allowed to do BLT, which is bending, lifting, and twisting. So
I can go for a BLT though.
All I can really do is sit down. And what am I going to do? Sit down in a dark room? No, I'm going to watch a movie or a show.
Exactly. Just keep on keeping on with your horror loving self.
That's it. And reviewing all the stuff I can.
Well, speaking of, so I still have this cold. Let me tell you this. I am over this season.
It's so bad.
Man, I had this cough will not go away.
I don't know if it's just up by us, but it's like, I was just talking to the doctors today. They're like, oh, there's like pneumonia's going crazy, the flu. And I was like, everybody's sick again. I don't know. I think it's our weather. I'm
ready for spring. I generally like the winter, but this and my son started daycare this month. So that was like a germ pool. So, I mean, he's building up immunity. So that's good. But
kids are just petri dishes. That's all.
So send us all the good health, right?
Yeah,
Chris,
all the good health.
Angel and her recovery. My cold, which is not as serious, but
we still love you.
Yes. But we have I feel like I was in the middle of leading into another thing I was going to say, but I don't know. Then I got distracted by my
movies and shows,
Movies
which
and
is basically what we're talking about.
That's just
movies.
it. I mean, that's the point of the show, right?
Absolutely.
So we have a handful of trailers and some news to get through.
Yep.
The first trailer that we're going to talk about is for Neon. So Neon actually, I think, has a couple. Is Longlegs. So this is the somewhat buzzed about, right? Because I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of word going leading up to this, and I think this is the one that's had all the cryptic sort of secret teasers leading up.
Yep.
So this is so I'll read the synopsis. So FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes unexpected turns, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. This is directed and written by Oz Perkins, starring Nicolas Cage, Alicia Witt, and Micah Monroe. So this trailer, it really is a trailer. It's like only like a minute and 20.
It was a short one.
It was a short one, and I love that the marketing for this film is definitely a less is more approach, which I appreciate.
I agree. I'm like a hit or miss depending on what the movie is, because I know like Smile went so hard with their marketing, and that was actually something that drew me in. And I know some people like when something's marketed a lot. But I do really like, I think it's because Longlegs is taking this cryptic route. And I think that's what's betters them. Like Smile was very open of what it was, where Longlegs is just so cryptic. And you're like, I need to see this. I need to know what's going on. And if you've noticed, I don't think one single trailer has really had Nicolas Cage right there on it.
No, they're holding on to their cage.
They're like, everybody knows he's in it, but there is nothing. And I was like, but now I need to know. And I'm an avid.
Looks like.
I'm an avid Nicolas Cage lover. I don't care if people hate him. I love that.
Do people actually hate him?
I think people just dislike his acting style sometimes.
It is very over the top. It can be.
He's an over the top, awkward man, and I think that's the way he is in real life. And that's the kind of stuff I feed on. I love that awkward acting and everything like that. But I do feel like sometimes he's been thrown some really crappy scripts that he really can't do much with.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people that dislike his movies, and to each its own. Everybody's allowed their opinion. I love Nicolas Cage. I will watch anything with him in it. I don't care.
I mean, I remember rolling. It was the scene, I think it was Mandy, where he's just like in the bathroom in his tidy whities covered in blood.
I just rewatched that the other night. I got zooted and just rewatched that.
Oh my gosh.
The staring part where she's like this. When he's staring in the camera kills me every time. And you're like sitting there and you're watching the movie and you're like, how long has this person been staring at me?
Oh my god. But you know what? What snippets we got from this trailer for Longlegs. I mean, I do love this occult spin. It looks like it's going to be pretty brutally violent. I mean, there's like some
I agree.
Snippets of like faces crashing into the desk or table. There's some like there's like a lot. It's a very dark movie. I hope it's not like dark in the sense of like you can't really see what's going on, but I mean it's definitely a dark tone. Visually, lighting, all that stuff. I like that it takes place we saw snow. I don't know if it's only going to take place in winter, but I do love some winter horror.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the trailers have been slightly dark with the way it's not just like, I know you went the dark route, but I mean like more of the filming part.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're purposely making these trailers darker in the filming sense just to keep you wanting, or if it's going to be like, I have seen some movies where it is the whole film is just very, very dark and it kind of ruins it for you. But I think they're doing a great job with that, and they're kind of cutting the scenes right before something major happens, which some trailers will go brutally out and show you exactly what's going to happen, and then you have ones like this that really, I have so many questions for this movie that makes me want to go see it.
Yeah, they're not really sort of spoiling the big aha moments, which is great. You know, like they're not spoiling the jump scares. They're not spoiling kills. They're not right. Like I think this is really how you properly market a horror film.
Absolutely, especially, I mean, this is the first time I think I've seen a trailer for a bigger movie that's getting a lot of hype that doesn't even have the main big actor in any of the trailers.
Yeah,
like we just said before,
there's sort
nothing.
Well, it's a reverse Scream with Drew Barrymore, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like
actually, that's probably the
it
best way
really
to put it.
pushed Drew, and she's dead in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Where this is like,
Spoiler, if you haven't seen Scream. Sorry.
oh, well,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
assume everybody has. If you're here watching the Coffee Crypt with us right now, I really hope you've seen Scream.
right. If you don't, right. I mean, this is 1996,
Yeah.
one of the biggest horror films in the world.
Absolutely.
I think y'all know what happens to Drew.
Yeah, we all know.
Sorry,
Unfortunately,
guys.
but
You had almost
yeah,
30
but I
years to
do.
watch this movie.
I do really like how cryptic they're being and how I think it's actually giving them the upper hand not showing Nicolas
Mhm.
Cage because like we said, not a lot of people really like him, but it does leave you wanting to know what he looks like. What character I mean,
Mhm.
I'm going to personally assume that he's going to be the detective, like the FBI detective. But at the same time, am I going to put all my money on that? No.
I hope he's the
I
killer.
yeah, you never know.
I
We
really
don't
hope
know.
he's the killer
We
here.
don't know what he is, and that makes you really just want to, like. That was all these trailers and cryptic that's coming from this movie is making me want to go to the theaters to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not even to the point where I just want to wait for it to come out and watch it. Like I'm actually getting the inkling to just go to the theaters. It's like I want to see it opening night kind of deal,
Yeah. Because you want
which
to.
is awesome.
I hate spoiler culture. I hate
Yeah.
people who love to get spoiled. I mean, I don't hate people. I mean,
It's not fun then.
to each their own. But like,
hmm
I don't understand wanting to get spoiled. Like, I
Yeah.
love surprises.
I agree. I'm the same way. I mean, I'm the same way with just presents too. Like just I want the surprise. I want
Mhm.
all of it. And I know it is tough in like what we're doing with YouTube videos and we're both bigger on Twitter and Instagram and it's hard because I try to keep every single one of my reviews so plain because I don't want to spoil it for other people.
Yeah.
I want people even old movies that I'm watching for the first time. Like I just watched Fargo for the first time. I wasn't that big of a fan, but, like, my
Mhm.
review is still not gonna have any spoilers because I can't assume that everybody has seen Fargo. I'm 30 years old and I'm just seeing Fargo.
Well, you're kinder than I was when I spoiled Scream. So
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, and then the only thing I think can say that it might work against the film is when you really play up the mystery, you're setting yourself up to like have to hit a home run.
Absolutely.
You're kind of doing the Lost effect, right? It's like you put out all these conspiracies and these theories and all this stuff, and you're tying this big web, and you really gotta
You gotta
nail the
you gotta nail it now.
gotta nail it.
Yeah.
you know?
Which, you know what? I mean, I personally I didn't do too much research, but with Neon, I don't remember any other recent movies that they've put out.
There was the Neon Demon, which was the modeling movie. It was like the modeling horror film.
Yeah, so I don't even
And I think Neon was also, wasn't that Mia Goth
see.
and Alexander Skarsgård, that movie that they did? Wasn't that also Neon?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Infinity Pool?
Was that Neon?
I think that was Neon.
Well, I mean, if they put out Infinity Pool, then I'm extra excited because that was a wild ride by itself.
Oh,
And
I loved
that's-
Infinity Pool.
Yeah, it looks like I'm looking at because they have the same thing as like A24 where they have their site that has all of their top kind of movies.
Yeah.
It looks like they concentrated a lot on a drama kind of
Yeah, they're
vibe.
not like super known for horror.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to have because I think one of the other movies is also on our list that's a
Mhm.
neon. So it's going to be nice to have some extra production. I like when production companies come in and they start really hammering. I mean, look
Yeah.
at when A24 came in. They have been hammering left and right. And I know we all love Blumhouse, and Blumhouse is phenomenal. They've always been pretty top notch. But it's nice to see new production companies coming in with
Yeah.
just such a new take.
Well, I would say Blumhouse and then A24 are probably responsible for most of the horror renaissance lately,
Absolutely.
right?
It's the two of them. They are always top notch. It's just how it is.
Yeah. So that's going to be Longlegs. That is coming. Let me just go back. Is July 12th. That's going to be a theatrical release.
So excited.
Yeah.
Don't let me down.
We'll have to. Yeah, we'll be looking out for your review on that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be for our newsletter.
Maybe.
Now you'll probably
We'll
want
have
to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a biggie. That you want as a Chris exclusive.
Yeah.
So our next trailer, which I did a short reaction to, if you follow our shorts, is for Tarot. Tarot, I don't remember which company that was from. I don't think it's a Blumhouse, Neon, A24, or one
Yeah, I
of those.
think that's a low.
I think this
company
is
too.
Sony.
I think it is Sony, actually.
I think it's a
because I
Sony
did watch
movie.
the trailer. It is a Sony.
So Tarot is directed by team Anna Hallberg and Spencer Cohen, written by Nicholas Adams, Spencer Cohen, and Anna Hallberg. So a big team.
Yeah.
A lot of these young actors in this film, I only recognize the kid from Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I was
They get that a
watching
lot.
I was watching the trailer in the car after you told me to watch the trailer. And I look at my
Yeah.
girlfriend. I was like, "Is that the guy from Spider-Man?" I was like, "That's him. That's him." I'm not going crazy. Yeah,
Although
it's nobody
apparently
else.
the woman that played Sally Hardesty, not in obviously the original Texas because she passed away, but in the requel,
She is in that. Yes.
yeah, Alwyn or something Finnish,
But
Swedish. I can't
no other big names. It's a
remember. No one that I
very
recognize, but I'm sure they've probably been in something.
yeah. I'll find something
Um,
eventually.
But the synopsis for Tarot: when a group of friends recklessly violate the sacred rule of tarot readings, they unknowingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within the cursed cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate and end up in a race against death. So someone said to me this was like a combination of like Final Destination. I forgot what the other one that they said was, but it actually kind of reminded me of 13 Ghosts a little bit. In the sense that every card is tied to a specific entity.
I
And
see that.
And I actually kind of like that. Because we have some creative spirit designs
Mhm.
that we see in this trailer.
Yeah, I think I don't know if this is what you're I automatically thought a mix of Final Destination and Ouija.
Oh, Ouija. Okay. I never
That's
seen a Ouija.
I saw it's all right.
Or the second one's better.
But that's kind of the vibe I got because it's one of those things where you're playing with the Ouija board and now you're haunted because you played with the Ouija board. And I felt like they were doing the same thing with the tarot cards.
Mhm.
This one was like a little iffy for me when I was watching it, and I think it is because I was connecting them so well. The trailer itself though has some great I mean, there's a couple jump scares in the trailer by
Mhm.
itself, but also I thought the jester looked wildly good. When that jester came on screen, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh crap!" I was like, and that was like, almost done with the trailer, and I was like, "All right." I wasn't sure at first, but now the way the design is, the costume design,
Our second Jester Ghost in a year. I'm thinking of
yeah,
House
I
Hunter.
know it's crazy. So it was. I'm a little skeptical about it. It's a movie that's going to be. I don't know if I'm like. We might have to wait for a couple more posters and if they release another trailer, because we have till May. So
Yeah. It's definitely going to be one that I want to see. I think sort of regardless, just so I can have my own take on it.
that's the way I am.
I think like I said, I like the style of this, like you said, with the gesture. I like the design of the ghosts. It looked like it just kind of be fun. In like oh, how are these kids gonna die sort of way.
And that's the same
Um,
way how you feel when you watch the Final
yeah,
Destination or the Ouija movies. You want to know how they die, which is crazy. We're not psychos, I
yeah.
promise. we just want to know how they die.
But I like that they're playing on sort of it's the only rule of tarot that I know is that you're not supposed to use someone else's deck because their
Yeah,
essence is like paired to the
yeah,
cards. And I don't know how commonly known that rule was, but I like that they're playing with it because I
yeah.
don't have we really gotten a lot of movies just based on tarot cards?
Not really. I think we've had some movies where they just kind of pop up, which
Mm-hmm.
it is definitely a different take. And I think as long as this movie, the rest of the movie stays with, I mean, anybody who does tarot readings, they're all abiding basically by these same rules. Is
Mm-hmm.
what I've noticed. It's like tarot readers are almost like their own culture.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
think as long as this movie doesn't blow up that culture that some people really don't take seriously, because a lot of people don't agree with that stuff. But as long as they don't blow up that culture with the tarot card reading, I think it has a possibility of being a decent, fun movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think the movie is necessarily blaming tarot per se. I think it's just whoever's deck it was.
Yeah.
It's like tied to something bigger and sort of.
I think there's gonna be a bigger story. You're gonna hope that they're gonna have a bigger story, and it's not just something like that. But I think if they kind of stay with that, I mean, tarot cards, you know how many there are. There are a crazy amount. There's so many things that going through my mind of like which ones can be pulled and how are they gonna die from it? How is it gonna connect?
I have a small. I mean, I'm not like a big tarot reader person. I have a small little collection. They're like somewhere over here. They're like,
Hey, you know what? You got to collect something. I've never had it done. I don't know. Sometimes those things kind of like creep me out. Like I'm not the kind of person who goes to like, what are they? The future predictors. I can't.
Tarot doesn't creep me out the way like a Ouija board would, or like a seance would. I think if you're contacting spirits or like other entities, that would kind of freak me out a little bit more.
Where I draw the line.
Tarot is more of like you're connecting with the universe. I don't know. The way I read it, right? It's not like you're having like a spirit tell you something. Like you're not inviting something in.
Very true. Yeah, I've never just gotten into it. I mean,
they're fun.
It's not like I'm against it in any way, shape, or form. I think sometimes I just get a little creeped out because I don't want it to tell me something bad and like get the death card, and I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Well, I think that's a misconception, right? I don't think death actually means death.
Yeah, I don't think death has ever.
I think it means an ending.
Yeah, it's a means an ending.
So I don't. Yeah. I mean, we're all gonna die, right? I mean, if we're gonna learn about horror movies, it's just how that's up in the air.
And when, you never know.
But that is coming out. Yeah, May 10th.
Yep.
I'll be curious. You know,
another theater.
You know, the disappointment of the year thus far, right? I know was Night Swim. You know.
Yeah, I have. I don't think I have read one single good review on that. I mean, I haven't checked it on Letterboxd, but I mean, just on Twitter alone.
Yeah.
I mean, a haunted pool was a questionable thing in the first place, in my opinion. That was just a what are we doing? It's what? But I mean, I'm gonna watch it eventually. When it comes out, I'm still gonna watch it. If I hate it, I hate it. It happens.
I mean, it's a shame too, because I love Wyatt Russell. You know, he was just in Monarch, you know, and he was great. So
it's just the same
sometimes
deal.
It's just script.
Yeah, it's the same deal. It's just you have good actors who just get in bad positions, unfortunately, and they can't do much to it. No matter how good their acting is, if the script doesn't hit, the storyline's all jumbled, it fails.
So, yeah, so that's Tarot. Our third trailer coming from Neon again is Immaculate, starring Sydney Sweeney. So this is following Cecilia, a woman of devout faith, who is warmly welcomed to the picture-perfect Italian countryside, where she is offered a new role at an illustrious convent. But it becomes clear to Cecilia that her new home harbors dark and horrifying secrets. I dug this trailer. I think Angel sort of compared it to the Omen prequel that we're getting.
That's kind of the vibe when I first started watching it. I felt like it was a mix of like the Nun and the Omen prequel into one trailer. Because there's so many things that align. But it did look interesting. It's another one that kind of leaves a decent chunk out. Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of, I guess it's like the Omen, but obviously with the Immaculate Conception. I mean, are we getting a little Rosemary's Baby going on here? I mean, I love movies with like religious overtones and undertones and all the tones.
Yeah.
Just I think being raised Roman Catholic, it's just, you know,
it just happens that way.
It's just there.
And you know, you have to remember we were the kind of people who did watch the Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist. We watched The Omen. Like that's stuff that is classic to us. And I could see why some people might not like it nowadays. They don't like that kind of vibe. I truthfully think The Nun and The Nun 2 took off only because it was part of the Conjuring franchise. I think if the Conjuring franchise didn't exist, I really didn't have high hopes that The Nun and The Nun 2 were going to do a lot, because I think people try to stray away from the religious thing sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, even the new Exorcist tried to sort of...
We don't talk about that one.
No, I mean, what I did appreciate was that they at least sort of tried the not agnostic route, the non-denominational sort of like
Yeah.
multi-religious cultural route. um, but I don't. This looks interesting to me. I can't say I'm the biggest Sydney Sweeney fan because I know she's in what's that show, Euphoria.
Yeah, I was a big sucker for Euphoria. I appreciate Sydney Sweeney. I think she's
Hmm.
decent. I think it will be interesting to see her in a horror film as a scream queen because she's
Yeah,
clearly the main character. It's going to be interesting just to see her in a different vibe. Like obviously in Euphoria, she
yeah.
plays a high school teenager who's basically like a whore, where here it's a complete opposite 180, and
Hmm.
I think it'll be interesting just to see. I like how many movies we've been putting out with more female leads. And I think it helps that we're not concentrating on one person. Yes, Mia Goth is phenomenal. She keeps coming into a ton of horror movies, but I do like when we're taking other actresses and giving them a time to shine in horror to see how they
Yeah,
go. Because back in the day, that's all we had. I mean, we had Jamie Lee Curtis, we had Neve Campbell, we had Heather Langdon-Camp, we had all of those, and then I felt like there was a giant gap where they just
yeah,
stopped putting women there. And I don't know if it's just a sexualization kind of deal, and that's how it turned into. But I like when the story is around them. Give them the time to shine,
yeah.
and this might be her
Absolutely.
time to really shine in horror.
I think it's awesome. Well, I would say Mia Goth is this generation's Jamie Lee
100%.
in the sense that Jamie Lee was put in Halloween, Prom Night, uh, Terror Train, The Fog,
She was in
right?
everything.
So, like, I think Mia Goth is sort of in that sense where she's in all the horror, but then you're gonna get some peripheral people,
Yeah.
right? You're gonna get your well, I would say Jenna Ortega though also could
Jenna
be this
Ortega's
generation's Jamie Lee.
absolutely. I mean, we have Jenna Ortega, we have Mia Goth, we have Sydney Sweeney, we have, I mean, even some of the characters from Stranger Things that have been in different
Mhm.
horror films. We just have these Fear Street movies coming out, which are meant for that younger generation. I think it's a big time to really show that women are the scream queens. Leave it to them. Trust me,
Oh yeah.
they got this.
But as far as the trailer, goes, like I think it's very stylish. I really sort of very similar to the. I think, well, you know what? I don't want to really necessarily compare it to the Omen prequel, one for one. But I'd say, I think they both really nailed this stylized look. Not that one is trying to copy the other because they were being made separately at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah,
We just happened to get the trailers around the same time. But yeah, no, the style just looks good. It looks eerie, very atmospheric. Doesn't look like there's a lot of cheap jump scares. I mean, sure there will be some. There's always jump scares,
there's always a cheap jump scare somewhere in a movie.
but it doesn't look like it's just going to be like a jump a second.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot.
yeah, but it does really build up some questions.
Yeah.
And that one scene, I mean, you know what happens when she falls from the roof.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that when that happened, I was like, "Oh boy." I was
Also
like,
very Omen though.
very Omen. That's why
This is
that's
all
why I
for you,
immediately
Damien.
yep, that's why I went straight to the Omen when I thought about that. But then it's one of those, okay, well, now I have questions. Why did she jump? Was she pushed? What are we doing now? And that
Well, was that
really
also were they masked? Those
I don't
people up there?
think you ever saw them masked because
'Cause I thought I
when
saw red on the face or like red
it
happening.
might have been because that yeah, it might have been.
Because it might be like some cult sort of thing, cult sacrifice. I don't know. A lot of
I
culty
think
stuff.
something's going on at that church. We know that for sure.
Hmm. I'm happy it's also just like not like the Vatican.
Yeah.
Like we're sort of in a different church. I mean, but she also looks beautiful at the end. Like they kind of make her look like the Virgin Mary, but also like
Yeah.
this very like Roman paint style representation of Mary.
And then it just gives you more questions because you're like, is this they're honoring her because I mean, you see that she's pregnant in that, and
Hmm.
that already leads to questions because you're like, oh well, she's obviously the Virgin Mary because nuns are not having sexual intercourse. So
I have a recommendation for you. Not related to this movie, but you ever sorry, you ever see this show Point Pleasant?
Point Pleasant? It's a show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
It's a
think so.
2005 show from Fox called Point Pleasant. It is a soapy. It's a nighttime soapy version of Rosemary's Baby.
There's only one season, so
One season, it got canceled.
that's
I was so
disappointing.
pissed, but they found out they were getting canceled during production. So they rewrote the finale to be a series finale, and they released the unaired episodes as part of a DVD set.
Oh,
So it actually ended up being a pretty cool miniseries because they were able to sort of plan around it.
add that to my list.
Do not think it's streaming anywhere, but I have the DVDs, so you are more than welcome to borrow them.
Yeah, I'm just ship them over.
I will ship them your way. But yes, if anyone has never seen this show, it is so much fun. It has Grant Show in it from Melrose Place. It has Dina Meyer, who is in the Saw movies.
Love that.
It has, oh gosh, I'm totally blanking. All like beautiful people.
Yeah, they are. I just looked at their IMDb. They are all stunning people.
It's all like beautiful, like
Yeah.
like early 2000s, like WB looking.
Absolutely. That's what they all looked like.
But it's so good. It is so soapy and campy, with like a devil plot in it. So
Oh, I'll have to find that.
yeah,
And just try to.
it's about like the devil's daughter. So it's like The Omen, but she's like a teen woman.
A teenage. Okay.
And she washes off of a ship onto Point Pleasant, New Jersey, and it takes place
Too
in
close to
Jersey.
home. Too close to home, Steve.
And then she washes up on shore in this town, and then her presence just brings about like the worst in people.
Hell.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then it's leading up into like the apocalypse.
That sounds interesting.
It's fun.
I'll definitely
It's a
have
lot
to
of fun.
watch that.
But that's the thing. I sort of want more movies that deal with the Antichrist that aren't just like the baby being born.
I agree.
You know, I want more like older kind of Damien stories.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So our second to last trailer is going to be for a Shudder release, February 23rd, called History of Evil. IMDb just has a short synopsis for this. A family on the run from a corrupt state takes refuge in a safe house with an evil past. So right off the bat, I feel like we are getting sort of geopolitical, social commentary in this film.
Yep.
It looks like it's going to be really dark and intense. Was seeing some like Ku Klux imagery in this trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're in like a southern sort of plantation-y kind of house or somewhere, but there's like some dark secrets going on. So I think so. Yeah. So it's a multiracial family. So Paul Wesley is from the Vampire Diaries. That's I forgot what the character's name was from the Vampire Diaries, but Stefan.
Yes.
Stefan, right? There's Jackie Cruz, and there's no one else that I really recognize.
Yeah, it's another movie that doesn't have a lot of big names.
No, Paul's really the most notable or noticeable, I should say.
Yeah.
Not notable. Looks dark. Looks pretty dark and twisty.
It did look very dark, and that's another trailer that leaves you with so many questions.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, when I watched that trailer, there's really not a lot of commentary in general. It's very just a very good score to make it very eerie, but they really don't talk that much in it to really.
No.
At first, I actually had to go to really find out like what the synopsis was of this.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, what the heck is happening in this whole entire trailer? Which I love. I love when I have to ask questions and go to IMDb or Google and just Google like, hey, what's the synopsis of this?
Yeah.
Because that really sets you up and gets you excited that the trailer is not telling you anything.
No, it like definitely. I think you pull from like you could tell that there's going to be commentary just from some of the imagery, not so much maybe like what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like I said, like it's sort of like there's like a white hooded kind of moment, which is very sort of like, okay, clearly you're referencing, but yeah, and like obviously in the synopsis they're talking about taking refuge, so I feel like there's a bit of a refugee immigration story going on. It feels almost a little like the last Purge film sort of tackled a lot of that.
Yeah,
There's
because they
another
did go to the house with the missing poster to see if she was there in that
Mhm.
trailer, which that kind of you could definitely tell. It kind of reminded me originally at the start of it, almost like a post-apocalyptic kind of deal.
Mhm.
Like if that's where they are, if that's where they're at, and now she's going missing from. I don't know if this is like a quarantine. Like it really has you asking so many questions.
Yeah, like why are they on the run? Like what's sort of happening where they came from? Um, and there's also some like high techy sort of stuff going on too, which I don't know where in the future this takes place, but there was like this like red beam scan going on the property.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if this is just post-apocalyptic, like years into the future,
It could be.
and it's kind of going to be almost like I don't know if you watched Leave the World Behind on Netflix that came out.
I haven't yet.
So it's very good. Very it's a very political based kind of situation, and it's always those kind of movies of this might happen and
Yeah.
it's going to be terrifying, which I have always felt are the scariest horror movies.
Yeah. People were
And
comparing that to the Civil War trailer for A24.
yeah, and it makes me feel like this is going to kind of go the same route if it is going to be a post-apocalyptic in the late future, and
Yeah.
this is what we're coming up to is scans. They're wanted people, but why are they wanted? And did they escape a quarantine, or what's going to happen? So it
You know,
looked very interesting.
it is really interesting. Like when you take a look at the bigger trends of like apocalypse movies, like post World War II, obviously everyone was very worried about like a nuclear war, right? So then you
Hmm.
get episodes like Time Enough at Last, from like Twilight Zone. You get these nuclear war or apocalypse stories,
Yep.
and then you get this like fear of technology, and then you sort of get into like the Terminator.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we're sort of back to the like we are the villain stories of apocalypse films.
Yeah. I could see, because that's kind of exactly how Leave the World Behind went.
Yeah,
Um, it was a lot of things that hit a little too close to home, and I know a lot of people with that movie got a little concerned because the Obamas were executive producers,
Mm,
and we were just like, are they trying to tell us something? Like,
they would know things.
yeah, they would know a lot. Um, and like I said, those are the kind of movies that are the scariest to me. Are the ones that can happen in real life. That's why to this day, The Strangers is still one of the top-notch scariest movies in my opinion. And
Hmm.
it's because of that. So if this goes that route of really keeping it, hey, this could happen, and maybe that's what this history of evil is. Maybe we are starting evil now that's leading into the future. I think
History
it'll
also repeats
turn out.
itself.
I think it'll turn out really well if they kind
Mhm.
of go that route. But who knows what route they're going to go, because the trailer really doesn't give you that, which makes you
Really not
question
much
it.
at all.
And that's how they get you to watch it.
So I am muted myself because of all the coughing. Um,
Hacking up a lung over there.
oh my gosh, I tell you. So our last trailer, in a violent nature, which you brought to my attention,
Yeah.
it made its premiere at Stance, and it's going to be released, I think, theatrically later. I can see this very much being like a Halloween release.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is
Um,
going to be closer then.
So the synopsis is interesting because I actually did not get this from the trailer.
Nope.
The horror movie tracks a ravenous zombie creature as it makes its way through a secluded forest. So
You don't get
I
any of
didn't
that
get
in the trailer.
zombie
No, I
from
would have
this dude. I
never
got
thought that.
like Jason on like crack.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe it gives, and that's what I loved when my buddy sent me this trailer, and I watched it on Instagram because it's very short. I think it's only like a 20, like what is it? I don't think it's even a minute long
It's a
trailer.
true teaser. It is just
Yeah.
like girl floating in the lake, killer with these hooks on chains.
The score made it one of the creepiest trailers I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Like this is the kind of trailer that you don't even want to watch in the pitch black by yourself.
No, this I
It
could,
gave you the uneasy feeling from the start.
yeah.
And the fact that, if I remember correctly, when I watched it yesterday, I think, or 2 days ago when my buddy sent it. I don't think anything is said. I don't think there's a damn word in it.
Nope.
And those are the creepiest trailers, are the ones that the music is just really building, and you're just getting imagery. That's all you're getting. But yeah, when I read the synopsis and I was like, that didn't give me zombie vibes. It literally did give like a Jason on steroids. But it looks really interesting. It looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, we only get the back of the killer, but like, there's like this like hooded mask situation, but it's got like some metal shit around it.
Yeah.
I said the hooks on the chain. It's almost like the kunai knives, but instead it's like meat hooks.
Yep.
Then you get like this flannel shirt, which is very like Jason, what's that? Fear Street 2, 1970, whatever. I dig it.
And it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I mean, that's all I need. I'm in.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be nice because it obviously looks like he's not gonna be a normal zombie. Obviously, I mean, I feel like they're just mixing a zombie film and a slasher film. So and I'm here for it.
Maybe he's a zombie in the way that like Jason was brought back from like a lightning rod.
Oh, that could be a possibility.
You know what I mean? Like, so Jason technically was a zombie, you know?
Yeah, I could see it being that way. But I think, I mean, you tell me zombie and slasher together in a movie, I'm in.
I think that's real cool.
We're not going to have a zombie that's just biting people and turning them to zombies. This man's going to be throwing hooks at people on a chain. Right. I'm in. I'm in. And that's another movie that doesn't really have a lot of big names.
No, I didn't recognize a single person.
Yeah, you could tell it's a simple Sundance film, IFC film. But you know what? I've seen a lot of B movies that are absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
But people need to give movies a chance sometimes.
So what's that?
I said people need to give B movies a chance sometimes.
Oh yeah. But so Chris Nash is the director, writer, who I guess had a segment for ABC's of Death 2.
Yes, which if you haven't seen that, 10 out of 10 recommends. Both films, wild ride, fantastic.
A couple little things that I don't know.
Void too. I think it's part of The Void.
So I think what did he do? So yeah, he has a credit for The Void, but I don't see what for.
I thought he was part of it. I don't know.
Credited as Transforms, so maybe he acted in it.
Oh, he did it. Yeah, it looks like he did act in it. It looks like he was in a couple other B horror movies as an actor.
He was in Psycho Gorman.
Yep.
Bug number 3. BioCop.
Nice little.
So yeah, so working his way up. So this looks like it's his first feature.
Yeah, I think it is under his first feature,
so it's his feature debut. So and it looks like he had a lot of good quotes coming out of Sundance. So it seemed like people really dug it.
Yeah, other than the ABCs of Death 2, which sometimes I feel like I remember I posted about it the one time on Twitter, and I just feel like it's a movie that not a lot of people know about. I felt like when I first watched it, I was like, nobody's talking about these movies. Like, what is going on? And
it's not. I didn't know they had 2.
Oh yeah, I love those films, those anthology type. I mean, I guess you would call it an anthology. Yeah, I mean, they're all different stories. So other than that, I mean, this is like his first big directing thing. And it's nice that he got good reviews at Sundance, and it's going to go to Shudder, which it's a big step. I mean, that's how everybody starts off. You got to start somewhere, get your in there. I mean, look at the guys for Talk to Me. Did those guys ever expect to release this at the Australian Film Festival, get picked up by one of the biggest horror production companies right now, and then kill it in the box office as 2 guys who started on YouTube making prank videos?
It's amazing. Yeah,
I think about it.
I just rewatched that actually last night.
I love that movie. As soon as that was on the shelves, I was like, buy.
Oh yeah, I have the 4K for it.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite movies of 2023.
Oh yeah. So that's In a Violent Nature. So yeah, so theatrical release later this year, but it's enjoying its festival premiere now. which brings us over to news and trending and what's going on in the horror world. So we talked about in the last episode, 28 years later is confirmed. We just got confirmed that Cillian Murphy will be returning.
Yeah, I don't know. I think as of right now, he is joining the production company, but I think the
Oh,
word is that they still like. Come on, how do you not give him at least a cameo in that movie? He needs something.
right.
Like, yeah, he's gonna be phenomenal producing it. Cillian Murphy is just a phenomenal actor, everything kind of guy. But
Yeah.
I mean, 28 days later really hit with the like can I even think right now? Like jeez, I can't even think of the word. Like a like not a neurovirus, like a contracted kind of
Uh-huh.
virus. Like that's I mean, he was the start. Like that was such a big movie that
Oh man,
really,
yeah, it was
really
huge
hit
for the zombie subgenre.
the zombie like genre in general. And I mean, I think it's awesome that they are making another one. I'm very
Yeah,
excited for it, and I'm happy that he's going to be a part of it because I feel like once he's on set helping with producing, they're going to be like, hey, just get on screen for a
I
few
mean,
minutes. Like,
he's having a time, Killian, with oh my gosh, what was the movie? Oppenheimer last year, and
still haven't watched it yet. Got to wait until it comes out.
oh, it's good. I liked Oppenheimer. A lot of people were just, I mean, yes, it's sort of like those overbloated Oscar bait movies, but like, I enjoyed it. He's old.
It's a Christopher Nolan film. What do you expect? That's what
Yeah.
happens. No, I actually just rewatched his Red Eye the other day.
Ooh, yeah, with
Incredible.
oh my gosh, what's her name was in that?
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams. Yeah,
I am such a sucker for that movie, and Cillian Murphy is phenomenal.
I saw that in theaters with my grandmother for some reason.
That's such a random movie
So
to see with
my
your grandma.
nana took me. I mean, my nana lived with us as I was growing up, and so she like, I don't know, I guess she just like. My nana took me to the most random movies.
She's like,
So,
this way he's gonna like it.
so she took me to see Red Eye. We saw Austin Powers Goldmember
Oh,
together,
classic.
and we saw that remake of that Japanese film Dark Water.
I love that.
I don't know why these are the three movies I saw with my grandmother in theaters, but they
Your
were.
nana chose some great movies, if you ask me.
Oh, and AVP. Sure.
Well, did she live her best life watching it though? She lived
Oh
her.
no, these are not her typical movies. So I guess I think it was her. She knew sort of like, all right, my grandson likes these stupid, silly comedies, so let's go see Austin Powers. He
Yeah.
likes horror movies, so we're gonna go see this thriller and I mean, I think she was doing it for me. You know.
Yeah, that's you know what that's what nanas are great for. That's
Yeah.
what they're great for. So
But yeah, that's why I was thinking. Yeah, so I was thinking of my nana when I think of that.
yeah.
Red Eye.
So I love that movie. So I think it's gonna be great. I know a lot of people are very excited for this 28 years later.
Mhm.
I mean, they're great zombie films and people love them. So why it'd be stupid not to make another film.
Oh, hell
Especially now with how much bigger horror is getting and how much limelight they're getting.
Oh hell yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
I'd be curious. Yeah, I'm always going to be a little weird. Like we skipped months, but
Yeah. We skipped the months. I don't know what you
maybe
guys
we
are
get a
doing.
prequel or like a
Yeah.
little short film somewhere.
Just a little something.
Or maybe 28 months could be the TV series
Yeah.
to
So
fill in the gap.
you're like, what you're telling me is now we just went from because what is it? It's 28 days later, 28
They just-
weeks later.
Weeks, days, or days, weeks.
So
years.
now we just had so many years happen between those. What were you guys doing? Like that better start off with what were you guys doing for these last years?
It's a lot of recap. I mean,
Oh yeah,
you got a lot of world building you're going to have to skip through.
absolutely.
So that's why I think, you know what, you could do the months, but do the months as the TV miniseries, like a Netflix show.
I'm in.
Do it.
I'm in. Netflix, let's go if you're listening.
Come on, guys. That's a hit right there. 28 months,
Yeah.
the TV series. So, our next little story is we got the poster title reveal for Beetlejuice, which is,
Beautiful.
I think, very clever that they did that.
I think it's very clever, more for the mere fact that they are setting themselves up to make a
They could do it.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
You
could do it.
have you like at that point. I don't know if maybe that's what Tim Burton's thought is, but come on, man.
You kind
you-
of have to now.
You have to at this point. You have to finish
Kinda
it.
have to.
The only tough part with that is we have Michael Keaton coming back for Beetlejuice. We have Catherine O'Hara coming back. Winona Ryder. I mean, no offense to them, they're all fantastic, and I know they're aging. I mean, what is Michael Keaton's like 70 something
Yeah, but you
now?
put makeup on him, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but now you're gonna tell him. I mean, hey, Michael, can you come back when you're like 80 and just do Beetlejuice?
Well, they're gonna just have to bang it out then.
Yeah, they're gonna have to. I mean,
Not rush it, but like they're gonna have to do it sooner rather than later.
Knowing Tim Burton, this man's got so much stuff going on in his head. He's probably got like 6 ideas for movies right now, and that might be the top. But
yeah, well, you know what? If this comes out and absolutely like blows expectations out of the water, they'll probably move up a third one quicker.
they're gonna start.
If it makes a lot of money, they'll have to do it.
Yeah,
just like you know how producers are and the business side of things. They're like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, I think the poster choice was just phenomenal. It's
the waiting room ticket.
There was no other way. I mean, there's a ton of different ways to do it, but I think that was the absolute smartest way to announce your date on when that movie's coming out, because you know how iconic that ticket scene is in Beetlejuice.
Well,
and it just made my heart happy when I saw the poster, and I was like, it's the ticket. And then I was like, wait a second, those numbers mean something.
Well, the prevailing theory is that the movie might start with him finally getting his number called.
It has to.
And he's been sitting there for 30 years, you know?
That would be great. But the whole movie, I'm so excited for it. I love Jenna Ortega. I'm really happy that they got Michael Keaton, Catherine, and Winona to come back. It's gonna be awesome. And the set looked phenomenal from what I saw in behind the
rebuilt,
scenes. It looks fantastic.
I hope that I want some references to the original, but I hope it's not just strictly nostalgia party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the member berries. I don't need all the member berries. Just let's tell a good story. You know, too. Like that's my other concern. That's like really my main concern with it.
Yeah, and I knowing Tim Burton as a director, writer, everything, I think he blows everything out of the water. I honestly don't think there's one Tim Burton movie I dislike, and I think it's just because that man's unhinged, but like in a good way.
No, absolutely.
So I agree with you though. I really hope it does not just keep going back to the original.
Yeah,
write this new story, especially now that you did just set yourself up for a third one. You really got to set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just excited.
People tend to forget Beetlejuice was like the villain of the movie.
Yeah, and they make him seem like he's fantastic, but he is literally the villain.
Is he gonna be the villain again? I'm very what is he gonna be trying? Is he gonna try to marry Jenna Ortega now instead of Winona Ryder?
We're getting really unhinged there.
We're gonna what's he gonna be up to? You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You know what? I'm excited though. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. So speaking of Beetlejuice and the return of Catherine O'Hara, she has also now been cast in Last of Us season 2.
I'll take Catherine O'Hara in anything.
Yeah, I don't know what role she's playing. I probably should have had that in the article.
You know what? She can come back as a zombie. I wouldn't care.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna see if I forget which character she was playing.
Did they actually announce what character she was playing?
She joins returning.
Did they just say that she's
under wraps? Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they announced.
So she could play whatever the hell she wants to play.
Yeah.
I actually hope she just comes in as Moira Rose.
Yeah, just comes in.
These persepious zombies are really ruffling my feathers.
I need you to stop because I'm gonna rewatch that again. I love that show. That show is iconic. Everything about it. She is just phenomenal. I think she's gonna be great. Yeah, she's gonna be great. She's gonna be a great addition to that show because, as everybody knows, I feel like The Last of Us is a very small cast. It's never been a big cast, and I know just from the game and stuff too, there's not a lot, but it's gonna be nice to add her into a show because what other show has she been in since Schitt's Creek?
I can't think of.
But I give her props, man. She's been a busy woman. She was filming Beetlejuice. Now she's going to be filming The Last of Us.
But she's in that movie Argyle. She plays
Oh
Bryce
yeah,
Dallas Howard's mom.
Yep. This woman's a busy woman.
Yeah, she got very busy after Schitt's Creek. You know, I do want though. It's a tangent, not really horror related, but it's Catherine O'Hara related. I want her to I want another what's his name? Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show. What's that director's name?
Oh no.
Parker Posey is in them. Christopher Guest. You ever seen these movies?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I want that crew to get back together. Jane Lynch, Parker Posey, like Eugene Levy.
I love all of them.
I want that crew back together for another movie. Like
I would take that.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that.
But that's my husband got me into those movies. They're so wild. But I did not realize the flow of which these stories were going, because we had Beetlejuice, Catherine O'Hara in The Last of Us.
Back
now
to
we have
Tim
Burton again.
Yeah.
Remaking Attack of the 50-Foot Woman.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Which
was just announced today.
Just announced today. Well, Friday. This comes out on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
That day. I'm not good at time, all right, everybody?
So my husband and I watched it. So my husband and I had this whole stint. We were watching old, like, 40s, 50s, 60s, like, sci-fi movies. We came across this one. And I was telling you before we started recording this, and I held on to the line because I wanted to bring it up. For this is my favorite line from this movie. I think they're all, like, held up in the cabin together. And, oh my gosh, what did she say? They were like, "Woman, you're a drunk." And she's like, "I prefer the term alcoholic."
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm like, what?
The 50s were wild. Any movies that I've watched between like the 40s and 50s they're just so hilarious.
Well,
like, and they shouldn't be. Like, they shouldn't be.
Well, you know what? It's because they actually talk the way that remember I had you watch Reefer Madness the musical?
Died.
They actually talk the way those characters are parodying.
Oh, yeah. That's what makes it so much funnier, though. And it makes it great. And I'm really happy that we're rebooting old movies like that.
This is where it would work well. Like Angel and I were saying, like with the Blob remake, like we're not like, I mean, Blob actually had a remake, but like in the sense is like you could take an old sort of movie that like maybe wasn't done that great to begin with, and you could like The Thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like going into the past like this, you know, into these old 40s, 50s movies, you can really make something unique and different. And
absolutely. And just take it from our viewpoint now in 2024. Hey, Steve and Chris wake up. Oh, there's a 50-foot woman outside. Like, take it from that. And I like when people do newer stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like when you had me watch Reefer Madness, it was just so comical and it was so great. And just thinking about how terrible the actual Reefer Madness is. But they did such a good job of picking it up and putting it in the way we see it nowadays.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what we need a lot more of. Take these terrible movies and make them better. Like, I would literally give my left arm if somebody took that very, very, you know what, I'm going to call it a C movie at that point because it is so bad, but it's great. Take Velocipaster, please. Oh. I'm obsessed with that movie, and then I need somebody to just zhuzh it up and make it into a phenomenal film.
Some high octane stuff.
But Velocipaster, in case if you haven't watched it, phenomenal.
We watched, I think it's called Them. When I was in college, I took a disaster films class, and we watched one old sci-fi movie. I think it was called Them, and they were like giant killer ants. And I'm like, I want a remake of that.
I would be down. Like, same thing. Like, I love the Arachnophobia movie. Phenomenal. I would love to see a newer age one.
Well, there's that French one coming out. We covered it in the last episode of Vermin.
Oh yeah, Vermin.
Actually looks really good.
Because the issue, not an issue. It's actually the plus side is CGI has gotten so much better.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, a lot of those movies, I do appreciate their practical effects. I do because I know how much time and effort goes into that.
Yeah.
But you have so much great technology now that will really bump up any reboots. And I mean, look at it. We just did Monarch, and look at Godzilla from the 30s. That thing looks hilarious. But now
Amazing.
look at Godzilla in Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
Phenomenal, terrifying. Everything about it sits well. So please start taking those movies. So if they're gonna take this 50-foot woman, I can't wait to see a CGI 50-foot woman.
Was also with Tim Burton, he's going to do something silly with it.
He's gonna nail it. He's the only person I could see remaking this movie.
I want him to take the tone because he did do sort of a movie like he did Mars Attack, which is one of my favorite Tim Burton movies.
I can't find that streaming anywhere, and it's driving me up a wall.
I own it. I wonder if I could give you a share pass.
I think I own it somewhere. I still have like boxes from when I moved in March because I'm a slacker, but we won't talk about that.
Okay. But I love that movie, Mars Attack. It's like
phenomenal.
It's very if anyone has not seen that movie, please see Mars Attack. Just go in. It's camp. It's wild. It's funny.
It's hilarious. I was actually seconds away from spending like $400 on that animatronic at Spirit Halloween this year because they made a gorgeous Mars Attacks animatronic this year. And I was like, but at the same time, because then I sit there and since we're talking about like nostalgia and stuff, every time you go into like a Spirit Halloween or a horror store, they have all of this normal, like new age stuff. Like, okay, cool. I've seen Freddy and Jason and everything, but now you're putting this like Mars Attacks and like killer clowns. This is what I want. We want the nostalgia too.
Yeah. So I was telling my husband when we decorate for Christmas, but also Halloween this year, I want to go for like retro like decor. I sort of like not like actually get old stuff, but like make it look like decorations from back in the.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm going themed now. I'm going to do theme years. So I'll figure out a theme plan for this whole year on what I'm going to put up, buy, and then just
might as well
do
plan if you're going to
things.
stare at your shit for like a month.
Yeah. I mean, I keep my 12-foot skeleton still out there. My Baron, he's endured the snow. Yeah, he's killing it. He only lost one arm. I got to put his arm on.
Oh no.
I can't do that yet.
You probably, if you lost an arm, you can maybe do something funny with it, like have it like half stuck in the ground with
it was just sticking out of the snow, which was funny because I didn't even notice it fell at first until the one day I looked up the yard and here's his little fingertips, and I was like, when did his arm fall? I was like, where did it pin? But that's what I want. Just I want all this. I love these remakes. I love when they take old movies, like when you're taking 50s movies that are so campy, like you said, campy and really not that good. Like it was heartbreaking when they tried to remake Psycho because Psycho was already such a good movie.
Well, that's that's an unnecessary remake.
It's such a classic,
Mm-hmm.
and you ruined it with a remake.
Shot with that, right?
Where the 50-foot woman is such a hilarious classic, but a terrible film. I think Tim Burton can do a really good job of just rebooting it. And like I said, the CGI like woman is going to be hilarious. And
oh man, I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
What if she was like almost like stop motion? That'd be kind of cool.
Stop motion. That would make that movie so much funnier.
Yeah.
And same thing with Tim Burton. He'll keep it campy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to make anything super serious.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make it campy and keep that campy feel, which I'm going to appreciate.
Yeah. It's okay to be silly. It's okay to just sort of.
It's the whole point. Like I said, Velocipaster, top notch. Silly, so bad it's good.
Well, speaking of remakes and then reboots, and we don't know exactly what we're going to get with this, but there was Dolly Parton, who I had no idea was a producer on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Nope. Hinted at talks of possible reboot. I mean, I feel like this has been coming up a lot lately. It's like,
it has. I think a lot of people have been talking about it.
This is more than just Dolly bringing it up. I don't want a remake of Buffy. You know, I don't want another person playing Buffy, essentially. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
can't.
Sarah was technically the second, but she was the best.
Yeah.
I think what you do is you do a legacy sequel. You go 20 years into the future, right? You have, Buffy's sort of this mythological figure, her and Willow, and sort of the scythe, and like this is like the turning point in the world.
Yeah.
And now we're in a new era of like all these women are slayers, and maybe there are more watchers out there, or maybe because there are so many slayers, the Watchers Council sort of gets a resurgence of like, oh, we need more people to support
Yeah.
these slayers, and then Willow sort of maybe launches sort of new stuff with magic. I mean, you don't necessarily have to follow the comics or anything. You could sort of be its own thing.
And yeah, just reboot it. I know there has been some shows who have struggled with reboots, but I think I definitely agree with you that they definitely should not go the remake on this. It's going to be too much to keep up with. I mean, you have a whole Buffy fandom. Like, you can't go screwing around too much with it. And I mean, you could see there's a lot of shows that have been rebooted, and stuff like that. Like, I enjoyed, like, I was a Pretty Little Liars watcher, and I know they rebooted that. I didn't hate the reboot, but I preferred that it went a reboot route, compared to a remake, because
Yeah, it was its own story.
it's too iconic of a show to just remake. And like you
That's
said,
coming back
Sarah,
this summer.
you can't change Sarah. You can't.
No, I mean, yeah, I think ideally, right? I think you just you take another character and you do. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a fun Slayer name, but so and so the Vampire Slayer, and like
Yeah.
it's just a new show.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it would be nice to see if Sarah would come back for a nice little cameo.
And she could cameo as this,
absolutely, as long as they don't remake it and they decide to reboot, you can bring Sarah in. And trust me, everybody is patiently waiting. We're ready.
I think she should.
If you're gonna put Sarah in it, I'm in. Let's go.
I think she said she didn't really want to touch it, but like if it was just more of like a cameo, like the
Something simple.
These Slayers in town, the one that sort of shared the power, right? Like,
Yeah, like give her a 1 episode kind of deal. If that's all she wants, something simple, and she really doesn't want to be a part of the reboot, then that's fine.
Yeah. Or she can get one, or if she wants to do more than 1 episode, she can get a little arc, maybe one story sort of brings them back to the, not the original Slayer, but that's Frey, right? Frey's the original Slayer.
Yeah.
But there's just so much. Then you could bring back Allison Hannigan. You could bring back Charisma Carpenter. You could bring back a
lot of people.
Spike and all. Well, he did come back. You could bring back so many people.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Like we said, it's just a hint, so nothing's confirmed as of right now.
Yeah.
So we all know how long shows and movies can take. So
and don't put it on the CW, please.
Yeah, please don't. Just put it on streaming platform.
I don't know who owns the rights to it right now, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
Because it was WB and then it was UPN, and then I don't know who has the UPN does not exist anymore.
Yeah, it's to the point. Just put it on streaming platforms. I mean, everything's just turning into streaming platforms.
Not Netflix. I would maybe feel better with it on Hulu.
I think Prime would be a good place, because Prime did have I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot they did. I know they did that. Amazon has had some pretty good shows, and to pick up something like that, I think would be a good thing for Amazon.
Definitely. Hey, I mean, I think my favorite thing from Amazon was Rings of Power.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's amazing. Oh, so good.
Have you watched them?
Them, I have not. I know that's with.
I made Angel watch that.
I know. I have to watch. I know I will. It's right up. It's horror with like a message, and it's like 100%.
Oh, it's horror with just pre-warning everybody who's watching this right now. Them is a very intense series, and it's not something for the weak-hearted.
No.
It is a spooky thing, but it's one of those shows that has that deeper meaning, and it's going to be a lot for you at times. But it is so beautifully made. I've never seen it, like watched an Amazon show that was that good. And that was just absolutely stunning. And I'm waiting patiently for a season 2.
Well, hopefully there is one, right?
Well, yeah, they're doing like anthology style. So,
okay, cool.
So the next season is going to be a completely different story. I believe the lead actress is supposed to be coming back.
Cool.
Haven't heard anything else about it yet, though.
Love me an anthology. We need more and more.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, just some sad news, with the passing of Carl Weathers. He passed away this Friday, right? Today we're recording this on Friday.
Today, yeah.
Passed away at 76. Horror fans would know him as Dylan from Predator. Most recently he's been in The Mandalorian.
Yep, and he was also Chubbs in Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I know him from the most. I mean, I love Predator movies, but Chubbs, it's different.
Yeah.
But,
so
yeah, it's a depressing day.
Not that he knows who we are, but we send all the love to his family and friends.
Absolutely.
It's always important to celebrate a legend of people, especially like artists who give us all these things that we get to enjoy year in and year out. And it's like they do this because they like to just share their passion, and then this is our way of just giving some thanks.
Absolutely.
And celebrating their life. So so this sort of brings us to just shout outs and recommendations. I know I asked you to prepare a recommendation. I completely forgot to prepare one for myself.
Well, you know what? We could talk about this together because you have had Sterry boxes. But that's my first thing, because I remembered that we talked about it at the beginning. Because you could put a link in there, right?
Yeah, and we did our Halloween.
I know you did your unboxing.
Which is I remember where I got my.
Yeah, I told Angel about it, and now we're just all obsessed with it.
You are the reason why we got into them.
Yeah, I highly recommend. Steve will put something down there.
I'll put the link.
Yeah, Sterry mystery boxes are phenomenal. That's where Steve got his cup. I have 2 cups, I think, in my kitchen. It's just the highest quality mystery box of horror stuff. They aim towards everything horror. It's the best bang for your buck. The customer service has been phenomenal. Anytime I've had to talk to them, they have been absolutely phenomenal. And it's crazy that a lot of people didn't know about them. And I was like, am I the only person who found them on TikTok? Like they just kept popping up. And I was like, I got nervous and I was like, I don't know if I want to buy it. But then I kept seeing it and I was like, you know what? I'll give them a chance. And it's so worth it. The amount of stuff that you get for your money.
A lot of stuff.
So much.
I have my cup laying around, my stickers.
I have the back. I got this.
Yes, they do.
That's the one. They did some pops.
Things.
I have a Art the Clown one too. In my
very
box.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about maybe doing like a giveaway.
They do little prints.
Yep.
As well.
I have they give shirts. The main reason why I bought the Valentine's Day one is because they posted those 2 T-shirts that they're releasing, and I think there's like a Jason one that says February the 14th, and then the other one is a Ghostface one. But it's such. Yeah, there's just such a great company. I highly recommend that. I'm not sponsored. Steve is not sponsored, I don't think. I just truly will share when I get great horror stuff, and that is the company for it. And their Valentine's Day boxes are on sale right now. I treated myself to a Valentine's Day box.
Yeah. Oh, I do have I forget who made this. I will find out who made it and put it in the link below. For Christmas, Angel got this for me. I didn't know it is the Poltergeist VHS tape, or a VHS tape. They printed the sticker.
Oh, I love that.
And then they put a little LED light in there.
Oh, I love that.
So it's a little bit of an upcycle. It's very cool.
Actually, you know what? It's so much easier to shout people out when I actually have when we're talking about it.
Oh wait,
so
you know what?
I do have another one.
It is. Hold on. Refocus. Nope, it's not showing up.
Oh.
But it's JRJ Chap.
JRJ Chap. Perfect.
Is the person that made this. Right, their little logo is on the bottom here.
I also
really cool, really clever.
Yeah, I also recently just purchased a couple of prints from this guy that I found. He had commented on one of my Twitter posts about the Jersey Devil, because it's one of the one theories that I'm like really stuck on. And I am gonna shout him out. I highly recommend following. He's actually from Jersey, which is great, because I was like, now I just gotta find out where he's gonna be and like what kind of like conventions he's going to. And I'm always somebody who supports very small, like not smaller artists, but if you're sitting there and hand drawing things, I'm gonna love every second of it.
Oh, yeah.
And his name is Greg Nowachek. So I'll show his. I don't know if you could see.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna put the link, or I'll put the handle in the description.
Yeah,
below
I can.
too.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you. He just started making stickers, but he makes a lot of. He does a lot of digital art. He does a lot of hand drawn art. I did just buy his Jersey Devil painting as well as another one, but he does some cool artwork like this.
Ooh, oh, that's real.
And he's another one that just clearly loves what he's doing, and I will always support people that do that. I also love artwork, especially when it's horror based or something spooky based. So he's phenomenal. Highly recommend checking him out. Everything on Instagram. He's got a Twitter as well. You'll link it all down there.
Sure will.
So I definitely shout out him. Oh, here's his Jersey Devil one. His take on the Jersey Devil. Yeah, it's crazy. So I highly recommend him.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show.
We
Thank
did
you
it.
so much for sipping some coffee and
No,
chatting some horror.
mine's gone now, but definitely no sharks now. It's way too cold.
And thank you everyone for watching. This has been another edition of the Coffee Crypt. We will catch you in 2 weeks with another episode. There will be so while Angel is out, there still will be Found Footage Fridays, remakes, Coffee Crypts. The show will go on, and yeah,
Can't stop now. Can't stop now.
can't stop. I think I'm mixing a bad song, but I don't know.
Can't stop, won't stop. That's
Can't
it.
stop, won't stop. I don't know.
Yep.
But have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you real soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey fam, Newman here from Movies4Dayz, your non-pretentious easy access movie chat podcast and weekly deep dive into any film from any genre, from any decade, with anybody's guess as to how we chose that movie that week. Proud member of the You Run Podcast Network. Check us out where all great podcasts can be heard, and on Twitter at Movies4Dayz. Movies is spelled regular, Days is spelled with a Z.